Okay, hey, this is Bret Martin. I hope you're each having a great weekend. If this catches you on the weekend, if it catches you during the week, I hope you're having a great week whenever this finds you. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about subject matter. Let me get a little closer there. Hello, 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 hello. And that is entitlement. You know, I had to laugh the other day. I was talking in class about my little brother and my older brother, and how when we were kids, they would get their chores for the day that day after school or on the weekend. And inevitably, Alan would take forever to get his chores done if he ever got them done. And Chris would be the same way. My older brother being Alan, my younger brother being Chris. And what's funny is I looked at it and I said, the way this is designed, all I got to do is do my chores quick and I get to play. Go, take out the garbage, I get to play. Mow the lawn, I get to play. Do the gutters, I get to play. And so over the years, what I found in a real short period of time was that each of these chores were really nothing. It was all in my head. But it really wasn't in my head, it was in my brother's head. It was in our neighbor kids' head, those kids that had to do chores. And God, they would talk about it just over and over again, afterwards or during or before, about how they had to do their chores, and they would mope around and complain. I got to thinking about myself, and recently I moved into this new home. It's been about 70, 75 days ago. And I just haven't left the home that much. I just haven't. I was asking myself today's Saturday, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what is it about you, Bret, that you haven't left this house all that much lately? And it got the dawning on me. It's like, you got a lot to do. You got a hell of a lot to do. You got chores to do. You got furniture to move in like anybody else. Got to place the furniture correctly, like anyone else. We've got grocery shopping to do, like anyone else. We got to get the home prepared in regards to cutlery and linen and blankets and, comforters, and get all the beds set up, etc., etc., etc. And let's be honest with one another. You can lose a month or 2 or 3 months worth of time in no time. And that's where I found myself today. My wife and I are going to go out this evening, go on a nice drive. And what we're going to do is go watch these people parasail, which I've been thinking about doing. I've never done it before. Not parachuting. I've done that before. But this is parasailing. And Medford, Oregon is one of the most famous places for it in the United States. So anyway, long story short, we're going to take off. And I remember thinking to myself, how good I felt, because basically my chores are done and I'm going to get to go on, like a child, my recess, or go play like a child, like when I was a child. I think about some of you, and I think to myself, how often I speak to some of you, if not a lot of you, a high percentage of you. And what I hear you say to me is, I want to eat my dessert before I eat my main course. Or in other words, I want to play before I work. Folks, I got to tell you something. If you don't know this about the human experience, I can tell you right now, if you're sitting around eating dessert all the time, not eating your main course first, in other words, if you're sitting around taking breaks all the time, taking vacations all the time, taking time off all the time, having not done anything prior to deserve those things, or that thing that you would consider like recess or, time off or time to play. If you're not using that chronological order of eating your main course first or doing your chores first, and then reaping the reward and going to play or eating your dessert, if you're not living in that world, then there's a world that's probably full of disharmony for you. I've been there. I know what it's like. I see it around me all the time with staff members. And believe me, I saw it in our own family model growing up. So that being said, understand some things that go along with it is jealousy, anger. Oftentimes, when you're not where you want to be, but other people are where they want to be, they're on the golf course, they're riding their motorcycle, they get to go out and go camping, they get to go hiking, they get to go fishing, they get to go hunting, they get to go skin diving, and you don't get to. You might want to look at it retroactively and ask yourself, did I do my chores? And chores as an adult don't necessarily mean take out the garbage. Sometimes chores mean that you need to do a little bit of marketing. And you and I know that getting the human flesh and grabbing it by the shirt tail on the back and saying, hey, by the way, you're going to go do this now, can oftentimes be a bitch. I mean, I've been there. I know what it's like to be in a situation where you got to get your flesh under control. So I developed a game years ago for myself in probably my mid-30s. I remember writing about 35, 36 years old. Rather than Simon says, I wrote myself a note that said Bret says. And I actually played that Simon Says game with Bret, where it was Bret says do this, Bret says do that. And I actually formed a life based around, like I spoke about the other day in class on Monday Morning Eye Opener, around a world where it was like, it ended up being baby steps for me. It was so chronologically simple by saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to grab myself by the scruff of the neck and this is what I'm doing next. Okay. In a world where, the bottom line in all this is you're really answering to no one other than yourself. But I got to tell you something, folks. We are our own worst critic. I've never met so many people that are shame-based in my life. Look the word up. And after we become shame-based, then we start to feel guilty. Then we have all those feelings associated with shame on me or shame on you, because it gets on you like an egg. Hits your head, breaks, and then it just runs down the side of your head and your face. Think about that. That's the way shame is. And it just covers your whole body all the way down. And the next thing you know, there's this sense of discomfort. And then you couple that on, an hour later, a day later, or again and again. And the next thing you know, 3 weeks later, 3 months later, 3 years later, you're just a byproduct of shame. Having not done what you set out to do, having not done what you wanted to do, having not done what you needed to do to be where you wanted to be at. So if you're in that position right now, understand first and foremost what you need to do. What's the new word out there? Forgiveness. I look at it and I just say, God, I don't think it's necessary for you to sit around and say, I'm going to take some time and learn how to forgive myself. What about love? I'm going to take some time and learn how to love myself. Look, the bottom line is bring the cart and the horses will follow. Bring the horses and the cart will follow. Bring the body and the mind will follow. Just do it. It's a Nike statement. And then use the statement that I sold to Reebok 35, 40 years ago and made, I don't know what I made, almost $3 million off of it. Almost $4 million off this slogan. And the slogan was, it's done. Just imagine what that feeling is like for you rather than just do it and having never gotten it done versus it's done. I did the trash. I did my bills. I vacuumed the floor. I marketed for 45 minutes. Think of that sense of self-achievement and how good it feels. And don't look to others for these achievements or these awards in regards to achievements. Look at yourself. And so maybe you get yourself something special in return. You know, I don't know what it is with human beings about eating their main course after their dessert, eating that dessert first. But it's always funny how people go out and get their nails done, how people get their hair done, how people buy new pants or a new outfit, how people go out and get new shoes, new cowboy boots, new tires for the car, but they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And I really think that chronologically, that's one of the reasons why we have a circumstance or situation in America more than anywhere in the world where we have so much disharmony and dis-ease. Dis-ease is because we know at the end of the day that credit that we're using to buy those tires or to carry on and buy some more groceries or get my fingernails done, oftentimes can be a situation, hair done, go gambling on this credit or borrow it from someone, oftentimes can do nothing but add more shame to our lives, more guilt to our lives. And pretty soon the visual I have, to be honest with you, whether you believe in God or not, believe in Jesus or not, just do the visual with me. Imagine you're looking down the road at an angle, maybe a 6-degree grade, and you notice around the corner, the crowd is lined on a single lane road of cobblestones, and here comes who? Jesus Christ with a cross on his back. And every time that he hits a new cobblestone with the back of that cross, clunk, 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 his hands are spread out. They're nailed to the cross, clunk, 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 clunk. You know, so often I see people symbolically like that, where it's like, somebody give me a hand. Please, someone help me. Help me come up these cobblestones. Help me come around the corner. I need help. Well, folks, listen, you got to help yourself. You get on this platform, and oftentimes you've got the greatest intentions on the face of the planet. You got to help yourself. And my recommendation to you again is just start with baby steps. Just do 10 Craigslist. Go door to door to 2 business owners. Go to 1 Chamber of Commerce meeting. Just be a fly on the wall, you know. Go out and hunt some cans today. Hunt some bottles today. Go out and mow the neighbor's yard for $25, $50, $75. Go wash people's cars. Get enough money saved up that you can say to yourself afterwards, gosh dang it, I'm buying 250 black envelopes. Then go down and have yourself some flyers printed off and get some of those envelopes out. Get them out. And get yourself involved in an environment where 5-10 days from now, you're getting that ROI, that return on investment. Because that's all this ever was for me, was return on investment. I did my chores. I got to go play basketball with Baranaga. I did my chores. I got to go fishing with Weaver. I did my chores. I got to go fishing with Snotterly. I did my chores, and Noble and I would go shoot our bows. Over and over and over again, I would come home from shooting my bows, or come home from fishing, or come home from hunting, or come home from a movie, a matinee, or a movie that evening, and I'd listen to my mom or my dad or both saying to my little brother or my older brother, you know, you didn't do your chores. That's why you didn't get to go anywhere today. He did his chores. I mean, you can't believe the hatred they had for me, the vitriol, the anger. And I remember thinking to myself, it's not that hard, for Christ's sake, just take out the garbage. It's not that hard, for Christ's sake. Do what Dad asks and clean the garage. It's not that hard, for God's sakes. Just clean your room. How hard is it to clean your room? How hard is it to take 15 minutes worth of your life today, Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and mark it? And then imagine how you feel afterwards. And now you do it again the next day, and you do it again the next day. And pretty soon what happens is we start to get our flesh used to those results. Now have a Dove bar. Now have a Hershey's bar. Now have a steak. That's when you eat your dessert, not beforehand. We've got this all screwed up in America where everyone's running around with a 2-liter in their hand and a Hershey's bar or a Dove bar. And it's like, yeah, you don't deserve that right now, symbolically, analytically, from my perspective. You got to do some chores first. So anyway, peace. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great evening. I hope life is going great for you. And if it's not going great for you, get plugged in somewhere. Get some inspiration. Get some motivation. Grab a book. Watch a movie. Hug your significant other. Hell, hug yourself. And remember, this too will pass. That's what I've been saying to myself for about 70 to 75 days. Bret, you've been here 1,000 times in your lifetime. This too will pass, and one day you're going to be able to walk out these doors over here. My office door, which is a bedroom here at home. There's my dog on the bed. Walk out these doors and say, it's over. It's over. We did it. We're in. Things are pretty much organized. Now let's partay. And I don't say that all that well because I'm not that type of guy. Partay. But let's be honest with one another. It's fun to go play. It'd be like me walking up to your door and asking you, or your mother, can Johnny play? Can Susan play? I'm going to go play right now. I pray each of you are getting ready to go play also, because you did your chores today, whether those are chores around the house or chores marketing related. Anyway, peace. Have a great day, great evening, great morning, whenever this finds you. Bye-bye. Love and kindness in your direction.